Hello again, everyone. This is Kevin Johnson of Leverage Consulting, bringing you yet another episode of the Organizational Excellence Podcast. The topic of today's podcast is effective hiring. I'm sure it's a topic that's going to be near and dear to many of you. In a book that I read a long time ago, but yet still resonates with me, is the book by Jim Collins titled Good to Great. I believe it's chapter 2. He talks about getting the right people on the right seats of the bus. We hear that phrase thrown around quite often when we're talking to other business associates or just people in general. We hear people talking about it maybe for sports teams and things like that. And the funny thing is, I think it's become a little bit of a tired and worn out phrase where people use it like Xerox and Windex and things like that, and maybe really don't take it to heart when it really matters. They don't take it to heart when they're in the process of hiring. Oftentimes, I see business owners and managers where they get into a tight situation, and let's face it, when do people leave your office? When do people leave you? Is it the most opportune time for you? Well, no, it's the most opportune time for them. They're moving to a different city or state. It might be someone who's having a baby. Could be any number of things, but they've left you when it works for them, and often not when it works for you. And when it doesn't work for you, you tend to lower your standards. Sometimes folks are literally doing nothing but finding a body to fill a seat, which in turn then is putting a manager or a leader in a position where they've put someone in to the wrong seat of the bus, and it's someone they will have to replace in the near future, or should be replacing in the near future. So if you start right from the get-go and you start thinking about who is the right person for this job, and it kind of makes me laugh a little bit. I start thinking about if we were going to hire a receptionist or a greeter for your business, I think back to Ferris Bueller's Day Off when Ben Stein is at the front of the room teaching, and he's saying, anyone? And let's face it, he wasn't the most compelling person in that movie, and that was kind of the funny part of it. But it's not funny when that person is working as a reception or greeter for your business, and the folks are coming in, and that's what they get. If we were to design it right from the get-go, we're going to hire somebody who has a great smile. We're going to hire somebody who's interesting to talk to, someone who's engaging. That's the type of personality we want for that type of position. And conversely, if we were hiring someone as a transaction coordinator or a treatment coordinator, a job that's a bit more detailed, something where we have steps, something where we have money as part of the conversation, we need someone who's more detail-oriented. And those jobs, although there are certain people that can go back and forth and do both, there are people who have strengths in certain areas, and that's what you need to hire for. Some folks will actually use the DISC assessment or tool, but one of the things, if you're not familiar with the DISC assessment, is just to use really good hiring questions. So think about that the next time you're put in a position of hiring someone. It might be a new addition to your practice, or it might be replacing someone who's leaving. Think about putting the right person on the right seat of the bus. So until next time, that's your Organizational Excellence Podcast.